Everything that is explained in this video is summarized from CoinMarketCap. And also, please don't forget to support my channel for more XRP updates and some other cryptocurrencies as a whole. Now take a look at this. Ripple versus SEC update. Hear what to expect on May 6th. In the ongoing legal dispute between Ripple and the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, which has a significant impact on the price of XRP. The two parties are at differences over whether or not the testimony of Andre Fox, who is the assistant chief accountant for the SEC, should be permitted. A letter in support of Ripple's motion to dismiss additional expert testimony was just attached to the company's submission. These individuals contend that Fox's statements meet the criteria for expert testimony and that they ought to have been presented earlier during the discovery phase of the remedies process. The SEC intends to respond by the 6th of May, and the court is anticipated to issue a decision not long after that. The struggle that Ripple and the SEC are still engaged in a recent filing, the Securities and Exchange Commission included comments made by Assistant Chief Accountant Andrea Fox regarding Ripple's financial accounts. Ripple referred to these statements as new expert materials and contended that they ought to have been submitted earlier during the remedies discovery phase of the litigation, which has now come to an end. In retaliation, the Securities and Exchange Commission SEC argued that Fox's statements did not constitute expert testimony, but simply facts and some basic authorization. As a consequence of this, the Securities and Exchange Commission has moved the court to dismiss Ripple's application to exclude these new expert papers from the proceeding. Ripple has requested that the court dismiss the expert testimony presented by the SEC in their lawsuit against the CK. Last night, Ripple sent in a letter in support of its request, stating that the assertions made by Andrea Fox, who is the assistant chief accountant for the Securities and Exchange Commission, are sufficient to be considered an expert witness. In the letter, it is explained that Fox's research, which utilizes her skills in accounting to examine Ripple's financial records, ought to have been disclosed during the earlier part of the litigation that was devoted to the discovery of remedies. The letter from Ripple states that the Securities and Exchange Commission SEC was required to provide this information before the conclusion of that phase, regardless of whether Fox is considered an expert witness or a summary witness. We anticipate a response from the SEC by the 6th of May. After this, it is anticipated that the court will reach a decision regarding the penalties and fines that Ripple is subject to for its institutional sales of XRP. While the Securities and Exchange Commission has estimated sanctions totaling $2 billion. Ripple has suggested settling for $10 million. What should you anticipate on May 6th? Ripple's most recent arguments are scheduled to receive a response from the SEC on May 6th to prohibit Ripple from selling XRP to institutional investors in the future. Observers expect the SEC will continue to pursue disgorgement and seek a court order to prevent the sale of XRP to institutional investors. In light of the latest challenge that the SEC has made to Ripple's request to exclude additional expert evidence, it is clear that they are attempting to strengthen their position. With any luck, these upcoming submissions will be the final ones before Judge Analisa Torres decides the penalties that will be imposed on Ripple for selling XRP to institutional buyers. Late in the year 2020, the Securities and Exchange Commissions have filed a lawsuit against Ripple, alleging that the company had violated securities laws through the sale of XRP. This Ripple was able to obtain a partial victory in July when a judge ruled that the sale of XRP on exchanges does not constitute a transaction involving securities. It is important to note that the disagreement on sales to institutional buyers is still ongoing. As crucial court dates draw near, Ripple raises objections to the introduction of additional expert testimony from Andre Fox of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Ripple's objections are due on May 6th, and the SEC's response to them might have a significant impact on the legal environment around cryptocurrency rules. Ripple is arguing that late expert testimony should be excluded because it could affect prospective penalties in future institutional sales of XRP. On May 6th, a significant new event is expected to take place in the continuing legal battle between Ripple and the Securities and Exchange Commission SEC of the United States as it stands. Within the context of which revolves around the classification of Ripple's cryptocurrency, XRP, as a security, new tensions have arisen around the admissibility of expert testimony from Andrea Fox, who is the assistant chief accountant for the Securities and Exchange Commission. Ripple has now taken action to prevent the entry of what it regards to be fresh expert testimony that was offered by Fox. The company argues that her findings, which are founded on extensive accounting knowledge, were illegally brought after the conclusion of the remedy's discovery period. The penalties that Ripple might be subjected to are shaped by this phase, which is why it is so important. On the other hand, the Securities and Exchange Commission SEC contends that Fox's evidence is nothing more than facts and some basic arithmetic, which is in contrast to Ripple's description of the testimony as knowledgeable material that required earlier disclosure. When the Securities and Exchange Commission SEC is scheduled to respond to Ripple's most recent request on May 6, this legal back and forth will reach a significant point. Cryptocurrency enthusiasts are keeping a close eye on the proceedings as the court date draws. The conclusion may have significant repercussions for XRP and may have an impact on how cryptocurrencies are regulated and classed in the United States. Ripple and the altcoin sector as a whole appear to have a bright future ahead of them, despite the legal obstacles that they face. Ripple's ability to persevere in the face of regulatory hurdles and its ongoing innovation in blockchain technology highlights the company's potential to emerge more powerful after the legal clouds have been lifted. The company's dedication to successfully navigating the intricate regulatory seas hints at a solid strategy that has the potential to propel the widespread adoption and incorporation of XRP in the global financial system. When it comes to the continuing issue with the CC, legal commentators think that Ripple will not be successful in challenging the declaration made by expert witness Andrea. Recent market activity have helped to boost the price of XRP, which has shown resiliency despite the legal issues that Ripple is facing. The anticipated response from the SEC could be crucial, and it could potentially lead to additional discussions on the negotiation of penalties. The motion that Ripple Labs has made to strike an expert declaration may be unsuccessful according to the opinions of experts, which presents a significant legal obstacle for the company. The judge is expected to provide permission for the deposition of Andre Fox, whom Ripple has challenged as an expert witness in their ongoing battle with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. Legal professionals who are actively tracking the case predict that the judge will grant permission for the deposition. The cause of the problem is Ripple's assertion that the SEC incorporated an expert declaration made by Andre Fox after the date for discovery that had been agreed upon at PAC to assess whether or not Ripple's conduct caused financial losses to institutional investors. This declaration is essential. It is also essential for determining the fines that Ripple may be subject to for suspected violations of securities legislation about XRP off. As an experienced attorney who supports XRP, Bill Morgan has expressed his doubts over the likelihood of Ripple winning this motion. He went on to clarify that it is highly probable that the court will acknowledge the relevance of Fox's contributions and permit additional examination through the use of depositions.